September 11, 2001 was a beautiful morning. The sun was out, the sky was clear. My wife and I were just getting up. We were starting our day when all of a sudden we heard this incredibly loud roar of jet engines. And we heard the power increasing, and then all of a sudden there was I said to her, he's too low, he's too low. I knew that there was going to be a crash. It was so loud that it sounded like it was going to be on the very next block from us. I got about here, and this is where you could see right here, both towers, right there, both towers burning. This is where I spent a lot of the time that morning before the collapses, photographing the towers on fire, photographing people coming out. You know, there were people right here in the street, lying in the street. There were people who had been cut by glass, people who had been cut by, burned by jet fuel. And it was an unbelievable scene. And you could also see people falling or jumping from the building here, which was absolutely horrifying. I was just at the corner here, and I heard it. I didn't see it, but I heard it. I heard a sound like a giant just rending metal. I saw a gigantic cloud, several stories high, of dark cloud of debris shooting out of the side street. And I picked up my camera and I said, this could be my last picture, but I'm going to shoot it. So I took that photo, and then I started to run north. And as I passed Fulton Street, I looked to my left, but I can't remember what I saw. I'm blocking that memory. And I continued to run, but before I knew it, I was just enveloped in all that smoke and dust and debris. And immediately, all my breathing passages were filled with this stuff. And everything dried out instantly. And I realized that I could suffocate there. And first I stopped running because everything went completely black. So I put my handkerchief in front of my face, like this, so that I could breathe. And I was breathing shallowly, and I said to myself, I'm not going to die here. I'm not going to die here.
The workers and everybody else on 9/11 faced a mix of toxic hazards unprecedented in the history of occupational medicine. 2/3 of the dust was comprised of pulverized cement, very caustic, pH of 10 or 11. When people inhaled that, it was very damaging to the upper airways and to the lower airways, and it also caused damage to their esophagus when they swallowed this material. But of course, there was also toxic chemicals mixed in. There was asbestos, there was dioxin. For the first day or two, there was benzene. There were pesticides, there were organochlorines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons.
My data showed that there were tens of thousands of gallons of jet fuel were released when the planes crashed into the World Trade Towers. It showed that, again, more than 130,000 gallons of utility transformer oil, dielectric fluid, and other toxic chemicals were released due to the collapse of these multiple buildings. There were multiple fires going on all the time for 3 months. They couldn't put the fire out. Asbestos was bad, benzene was bad, heavy metals were all bad, but the dioxins and dibenzofurans are extraordinarily bad. So when they found dioxins and dibenzofurans in the ambient air at, in effect, street level, I think that that was unprecedented in the annals of science, and it should have just sent alarm bells ringing.
We lost over 300 firefighters in a day. But over the next year, we lost twice that amount from active service because they were sick.
This is one of the first shots that I did on 9/11. And what's amazing was when I got the big scans, there's things that I never saw the first time that I looked at the pictures, which in this case were a number of people here in the windows, totally desperate, and somebody actually clinging to the outside of the building here. And they're all, you know, hoping to get rescued, and of course the rescue never came. I discovered that the responders were getting sick by talking about story ideas with my editor at the agency that I work with, Polaris Images. This is Greg Cabell. He's a former New York State corrections officer. In this photo, he's in the North Shore University Hospital in Long Island after chemotherapy for leukemia. It's very stark. It shows a man who was very strong and very tough, you know, just devastated by a disease. So thin and gaunt. It's pretty scary. This is a police officer, Cesar Borja. He was in the hospital with pulmonary fibrosis. When I saw him hooked up to all these machines, I said, he's not going to make it. And sure enough, 3 days later, he passed away. I've shot over 30 people. I have a big list of others that I need to do. It's basically something I'm doing on my own time and with my own money. It's not an assignment. It's kind of a labor of love, something that I think needs to be done, a story that needs to be told. And nobody else is doing it the way I'm doing it. People are more interested in Paris Hilton and Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan and all the crazy things that they do, rather than important stories, and that's unfortunately the state of a lot of the media today. I think also there's a lot of 9/11 fatigue, that people just want to forget about it. They don't want to know about it anymore. They went through it and that's it. So it bothers them to be reminded of it. And when you see all these people getting sick, it disturbs people. Well, it should disturb them.
This is a picture of the cross at the original location that I found it. This is building 6. And the center of the building was purged. In other words, all 7 floors had collapsed, plus 2 sublevels. All you kept finding was dust. Then I found this. And that's what I'm known for. See, I'm part of history, if you want to call it like that. When the cross goes into the memorial museum, my name is going to be etched on the bottom of it in a placard, being the one that found it. So that means my name is going to be part of history. That's going to give prestige to my children. That Bronco there is mine. This is my 9/11 war wagon. Still has evidence of remains from 9/11. This is actual 9/11 dust. I don't know whether it's a body or a desk or a part of a body or part of a desk. I don't know. So to me, this vehicle is sacred. It's almost like 9/11. And that's why I cannot get rid of it. Unfortunately, that's the way it's got to be. I cannot just discard this truck because to me it would be disrespectful to the 3,000 lives. I don't know if there's any remains here. A lot of people were there with their cars, and a lot of people used to wash their cars, but I'm not a lot of people. That could be our mayor. Our mayor likes doing that once in a while.
Does he help you? Does he help 9/11 responders?
Help?
Yeah.
I have an article in my trailer that shows that he took $219 million from the $1 billion 9/11 fund that was supposedly put aside for us. I don't know why he's got any business touching money that don't belong to him. It belongs to the people that are suffering from 9/11. How about all the thousands of people from across the country that came to this state to give their time, effort, and energy to help this cause?
You betrayed.
They're all betrayed. That's what I'm upset about. And you get me angry. Now, I don't want to get angry. I'm not here to be angry because I'm due for my medication. This is all for my head here. This here is for my diabetes. This is my diabetes testing kit. I used to be energetic, strong as a bull. I don't have it anymore. I am falling apart. You know, I feel empty. I feel useless. I feel, why do I exist? You know? And the medications are supposed to help me. I hate the fact that people are forgetting about 9/11. I can never forget it. To me, I eat, sleep, drink, wake up, go back to sleep, all about 9/11.
Why?
I would say I have 47 bodies in recovery. They're always on my mind. I have friends and colleagues that I worked with that are suffering some of the problems I have in different areas, and that bothers me. The lack of federal help that we're getting, that bothers me. The financial aid that I look for, that bothers me. It's just a never-ending nightmare for me. 3,000 lives died that day. And more are just being added to the list. And I'm going to be part of that. It's just a matter of time.
The main symptoms that the largest number of people have are cough, postnasal discharge, nasal congestion, rhinitis, runny nose, sinus conditions, wheezing, asthmatic conditions. We're starting to see some patients with cancer, pulmonary fibrosis. Here we are in 2008, and we have people that are feeling worse than they felt even right after 9/11.
Asbestos has a period of time, a latency period that can be up to 40 years. Dioxins, dibenzofurans, it's not like you breathe some contamination and just keel over dead. It's that principally these contaminants concentrate in your fatty flesh, and then over the course of many, many, many years, your chances of getting chronic diseases, getting cancer go up.
Well, he did search and recovery. I mean, he was digging into the debris, looking for, at the very beginning, looking for survivors to see, find survivors, and obviously they didn't find anybody. And then it went into a recovery process, and then they found body parts. They started finding body parts. All they gave him was a white paper mask to wear. That's all he wore. He said within 5 minutes it would just clog up. Actually, as soon as he came home from the site, he was coughing, and he was coughing up dirt and debris in the morning, which you kind of expect, being in there so long, and he didn't really think nothing of it at first, and then he started coughing. And then they started talking about the World Trade Center cough, and and then he realized that's what he had.
But he did go to Westchester to a fire doctor. This doctor had told him, now this was like maybe in November or December of 2001, and the doctor had said to him, if they don't find a cure for you, the people that were there, he said, within 3 years you'll be blind, in 5 years you'll be dead. Well, he was hardly able to read, and he died in 4 years. One doctor did say it was black lung. they can't classify it as black lung because only coal miners get black lung. So, you know, but this is his lungs, this is the way they looked inside. They found glass, they found people's bones, they found dust. I mean, they found a lot of stuff.
You know asbestos was in there, it's in those buildings, lead is in those buildings. There are the VOCs. However, the concentrations are such that they don't pose a health hazard.
We determined that the head of the Environmental Protection Agency was not telling the truth to both the people on the pile and the workers and residents and students in the area. There were health risks, tremendous health risks.
There were multiple statements of safety. There were several press releases that stated that the air was safe. There were subsequent public hearings where EPA was testified and questioned, and they continued to stand by their statements.
That's kind of a mouthful. I think there was a desire, and I do think it was a genuine desire on the part of our administrator to simplify that message. That's an unfortunate word. Safe is a very subjective term. I think that she felt that it would be, I think she wanted to comfort the people of Lower Manhattan. I don't think what she said was wrong. I think safe is just an inexact word.
If EPA had just kept its mouth shut and said nothing, we would have been better off. Because then people would have used their own judgment. They would have looked at that sky. They would have looked at the dust all over the street, all over the buildings, and they would have said, looks bad. They would have sniffed and said, smells bad. Probably shouldn't breathe this in.
I've covered revolutions and wars where people, you know, died very easily. For example, the Rwandan refugees that left Rwanda for Zaire in 1994. So, you know, I've confronted serious issues in my career as a photojournalist. But 9/11 was something that I experienced, and it's something that's affected me a lot personally. It has become a mission. I'm going to see John McNamara. He's a former firefighter with FDNY, New York City Fire Department. He has suffered from colon cancer, from what I hear. I've never met him before. Well, I see one picture already.
Come here, Jack.
Yeah, he
Stay
can
with me. Oh, stay with me. I don't want you to go in the street without holding hands. Come here. Come here. Look at the camera.
Okay, look at me. That's great.
He's a good boy.
All right, those are nice. Let's try another angle here.
All right, you want to go to the front? We'll go to the front.
Yeah.
This is from 2000. Ben's getting old, so Mike.
Okay. Hey, Jack.
Say hello, Jackie. Yay. Crap, man.
That's nice.
I'd like the city to recognize it. The city doesn't recognize. Right now, they're still in denial that the cancers are caused by the Trade Center. They're afraid to admit liability.
Why?
Money. I guess it's money issues. I guess they don't want to get sued, but there's a liability issue there, where if they can't come out and say that, okay, all the cancers were caused by the Trade Center, then they're going to have to pay out. Meanwhile, they're trying to get the government to pay out now, and they're still fighting. So it's going back and forth. Somebody's going to have to pay somebody sooner or later. All these people are suing. Somebody's going to have to come up with the money, the government or the city. You know, and personally, I don't care who it is. Somebody's going to pay for this mess.
I'd like to see what of course you can take your
wanna see the
jacket off
picture?
and everything. I want to see the World Trade Center artifacts that you have.
Yeah, I got some of those.
Okay.
That was my Proby class. We lost 5 guys in that class.
Mm-hmm. Can I see that cross? Yeah. Good. Yeah, just turn a little bit towards me.
This is a cross. My friend's an iron worker. He was at the Trade Center every day, and he cut me a cross out. A lot of firemen have something from the Trade Center, like a cross or something that we have to have. One of the masks we had.
Oh, turn towards me.
This is one of the masks they gave us. This is what they gave us to wear down there.
This is actually the World Trade Center dust on there, right?
Yeah.
All the toxic stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. You want to sit?
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Hold it towards me again. Yeah, that's great.
The whole time I was there, I never found a computer. I never found a phone, a chair. Never found a desk. Everything was just pulverized, you know, dust. There was nothing. No, you know. And, if you found a body part, that was a good day.
When did you then start to feel sick? When did you notice that you had a problem?
Well, in June of 2006, I had very bad abdominal pain, so I went to see my doctor, and I went sick from work. So they gave me 2 weeks off, and then I went back to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, we got spots on your liver. We think you have colon cancer." So then I went and got a colonoscopy.
Right.
And the camera couldn't get past the tumor. It was so big.
Oh my God.
It was almost 100% blockage. And the doctor said it was one of the most aggressive tumors that he'd ever seen in a colon. And my buddy Sean, he had a tumor that latched onto his spine, and his doctor said it was one of the most aggressive tumors that he'd ever seen.
So how many surgeries have you had altogether?
Total, total of 4. I'm facing a 5th. I have a 5th coming up. My lungs. On the science project. You see the port, pump?
Yeah.
See, that's the incision from the pump. That's the incision from the surgery. Goes all the way. They took out half my liver, resected my colon, gallbladder, a piece of my stomach, and half my lymph nodes. And then they installed this pump. That was all one surgery. 10.5 hours. Well, keep doing your story. Keep doing your story.
All right.
You get the story out. You know, the media will actually listen.
I'm doing what I can.
That's all we can ask for.
All right. Be well.
Keep doing it.
Good luck tomorrow.
The nation sends its love and compassion God bless America! To everybody who is here. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for making the nation proud. And may God bless America.
Had very, very little aid. Congress did set up a medical monitoring program, but it was only a couple years ago that they started providing money for actual health care. And they've virtually ignored the economic impact. I know one Ground Zero worker who had a home, he now has to live in his own basement. He has to rent out his house. He can't afford to live in his own home anymore. This is what he gets for responding, for being on the front line of an attack on our country. That's a terrible thing. That should not be.
Oh, thank you. I'm here for my appointment. Thank you. I was a supervisor, paramedic for New York Hospital at the time of the terrorist attack. So I've been a paramedic for 34 years in 911. I arrived that night at around 10 o'clock. I started having symptoms a few years later, in 2004. And then my health started to deteriorate right after that, until last year, where things they can't treat. I went blind in my right eye. I don't know why. I developed diabetes, hypertension, arthritis in all my extremities. I've had 2 surgeries. I need a 3rd one, besides what they found: asthma, GERD, because I'm having stomach problems. Sleep apnea, I stop breathing at night. Post-traumatic, where I have horrible nightmares every night of death. I'm on 15 medications, and I've never taken anything in all my life. Now I'm on 15 medications, and my health has just deteriorated so badly.
Okay, Mr. Noboa, come in.
That's always good.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, good.
Good to see you again. Just, let's have a seat in here. Let me see how you're doing since our last exam.
Worse, I'm using the inhaler more 3 times a day now. And then I had a nervous breakdown.
But you look better. I mean, you sound better. Last time you
cut down my eating a lot.
Are you exercising?
No, I can't walk.
I thought.
They did surgery.
I know.
And my knee is swollen like this with water.
Okay. Are you following up with your surgeon?
No, my insurance is finished. Everything is finished. I ran out of my high blood pressure medication. I ran out of my diabetes medication. Nothing. I have no more insurance. They sent me a letter saying I'm cut off now. The only thing I got is you guys. I haven't taken my pressure medication in a month now. I ran out a month ago.
Why?
I didn't have the insurance ran out. They cut off my insurance.
but there's no, like, couldn't you apply for Medicaid or something?
They turned me down for that too.
Why?
Because my wife is working, and she only makes $1,900 a month.
Breathe for me.
I don't even want to be in another ambulance anymore. I can't take the sound of a siren. I don't ever want to put my hand on another patient anymore. I've lost my desire. I've done this for 34 years, and it's been my life. Ever since 9/11. I never want to get into another ambulance. You know, when Bush appeared at the World Trade Center, promising all of us that all the medical needs will be taken care of by the government. I don't know if he was using that as a campaign speech, because he got reelected afterwards. And ever since then, he's forgot about us. He has never mentioned it. I think we've been betrayed. I say deserted. I didn't think I would ever see something like this where the government has turned their back on us. Every day I'm thinking how to survive. Who can I go to for help? It's not going to be the government. They shut their doors, and there's a big sign, closed. I'm at a point now that I'm going to ask for foreign assistance from another government to help me with my medical needs and financial needs. I'm going to write to them. I'm going to write to every foreign government, France, Belgium, Russia, anybody that will listen to me and have compassion and open heart. Soon I will be homeless. I have no money, I have no job, I have no medical benefits. It was cut off from me. I'm bored. All I want to do is sleep. If it wasn't for my wife, I'd probably be dead. Because she's the one that gives me the inspiration to live, and my children too. Give me the inspiration to go on. I lie to my children. I don't tell them how sick I am, because I don't want them to worry. But this country has let me down. They're not hearing, they don't hear me. Excuse me.
When people in New York and around the country and around the world turned on their television set, there was Christy Todd Whitman's face on TV saying everything is safe. And only recently, towards the end of the investigation, did we find that Christy Todd Whitman not only was giving false information, but she was being ordered to give false information from the White House also. Condoleezza Rice was the head of the National Security Council, and she was in charge of all communications, what is told to the public about the 9/11 case, including the environmental and public health response. Obviously, the head of the National Security Council is not going to do anything that the president doesn't want her to do. Well, from what evidence we've seen, and we haven't seen all the evidence, there was very much concern to get business up and running again, and if it required telling the public false information, so be it. And that was the overarching demand, is to get business up and running again and to give the perception of back to normal, as opposed to protecting the heroes, the workers on the pile, and the residents and workers in the area.
I guarantee you the cost of safety, the cost of compliance is negligible when one considers the alternative. 9/11, Katrina, Charleston, Station Fire, and many other events.
The first responders were betrayed, and they are continued to be betrayed. They were betrayed by the federal government in the first instance. When the administrator of the EPA and the federal government was telling people it's safe to breathe the air, they knew damn well it wasn't safe to breathe the air. When they were allowing people to work on the pile without proper respiratory protection, they knew they were poisoning people, and they should have known what the result would have been. And because Christy Todd Whitman went along with that decision, because the president went along with that decision, because others went along with that decision, thousands and thousands of people are sick and some are dead.
Put them in jail.
They ought to be. It's the terrorist's fault, but it's also the government's fault. Why? Because the government knowingly lied to people and knowingly didn't enforce the laws that are intended to protect people, and because of that, these people are sick.
No one's been investigated. No one's been put in jail because of 9/11. Chrissy Tall Whitman took orders from the White House. That's proven. And she lied. Her moral compass was pointed in the wrong direction. She should go to jail for manslaughter because people took her at her word. Those were false statements. Those were misguided words, pre-planned words, and all they wanted to do was get Wall Street up, back, and running as fast as they could and risk human life, because human life took a backseat to economics. There's nobody more patriotic than me. I was in the United States Army. I'm a 9/11 responder. I believe in this country, but I believe this country and its government is broken right now. It's now proves my dedication. It now proves that this has branded me for life. I can't go back to what I used to do for a living.
What did you do?
I was a demolition supervisor, and I did construction for 20 years after the military. This is what I'm going to do, and this is a reminder every day that I am going to fight for those less fortunate. I chose to step down and start the Feel Good Foundation 3 years ago so I can better serve 9/11 responders on an everyday basis. While you're waiting for your workman's comp and your Social Security, I could put food on your table. They're losing their houses, they're losing their cars, they're losing everything. All of these men who had macho bravado jobs as cops and firemen, who we looked up to, are now rolled up and shriveled into a fetus position begging for help. Nobody should live like that. That's criminal. It's disgusting. That was a donation. 19,000. But if you see the most of them, they're small. These are donations that come into us. My average donation is from the average American who will send a check. A lady in Minnesota will send me $10. An old man in Albuquerque, New Mexico will send me $50. But I've sold a t-shirt and a sweatshirt in about 45 states. In about 8 countries. That's pretty good. And our average donation that goes out is anywhere from $250 to $2,000, depending on how bad your situation is. We give them hope. We give them encouragement. We don't have enough money to ever really sustain their bills every day and every month. But we're doing more than we can. And listen, basically, let's, call it like it is. If the government did what they were supposed to do, I wouldn't even be in business. I'd be like every other 9/11 responder saying, please help me. What's up with the sit? Okay, down. Come here. Hey.
Feel good?
Oh, yeah.
So
She swiped all his shirts.
I would like to give you this.
See, all his t-shirts, she always swipes them from. You have to go looking for them before.
Oh, yeah, that's outdated. That's all. These are new.
Okay, cool.
Those are new logos.
I don't know how long the Cotton's going to give me had to be here. I mean, there's people that have been down there for 3 days that are 10 times worse than me. I was down there for a couple months. And thank God I'm less affected by this. But the Feel Good Foundation is, as far as I'm concerned, nobody else in the history of the World Trade Center or the people that work there, John was the only foundation that helped my family.
Every day is a challenge. Some days you just don't want to do it anymore because it just there's no end in sight that we know of. We keep thinking there's gonna be, and it's just one roadblock after another. There's days I just can't take it. I just want to run. We gave up our daughter just over a year ago because we both got so sick. I had a baby girl last February, and we got so sick we didn't even know if we could take care of her. We had no money at the time, so we put her for adoption to a family that I picked out. So I don't think life gets much worse than that, you know. Made a 12-year-old very ill. She got sick from it. It was hard, you know. Got rid of everything. Nothing left to lose at this point, you know. Now we just fight for our lives. And we wait. That's Vivian Faith. That's my daughter, the day she was born. I didn't see her until pictures, because I knew that if I looked at her, I was going to change my mind. I knew I wasn't going to give her up. To keep her might have been just downright selfish. So I want to provide for her better than that. And she's got a great set of parents. She's got a wonderful family. We keep in touch. Makes it easier, maybe, but not easy. Yeah, I won't keep these on too long. It's too emotional. There you go. Oh, they gotta go.
The first word that comes to my mind for you is unconditional strength. I just don't know how you do what you do. You really are an amazing person. Hurry up. Dear Patricia, you give me the drive that makes me fight every day for these 9/11 responders. I first spoke to you on the phone after your husband, Philip, passed away. He's a hero amongst the 9/11 community, and you're a hero among the wives. For you, for you are an example of strength for all of us to follow. God bless you.
Let me say this. It was an ordeal, seeing my husband be sick and suffering for 3 years. He was a wonderful man. He was my best friend and a great father. And I want to honor him today as well. Thank you.
From the day he died, I lost all the medical benefits. Workman's Comp has denied me many times and denied him while he was alive, saying that we can't prove that it's 9/11 related. He did not get the same disability pension that the uniformed firefighters and policemen got. He tried to fight for that, also a 3/4 pension, which he did not get.
How do you feel about it?
I'm very angry, I'm upset. I'm not going to stop fighting because that's something he fought for while he was alive. And we have 3 children, and I'm going to try to fight for that.
Now, board members, come on, let's go. Come on, board members, let's go. Shake a leg. Sean.
Oh, yeah, everything. Ow. Ow. Turn around, but you look like a really doing. Very good. I got it. On Jimmy's birthday this past year, I went at the site at the World Trade Center. You know, we just collected money for the 9/11 survivors. And I had thousands and thousands of people walk by me, and they wouldn't even give a quarter. You know, I asked them to take just your money out of your, you know, just to change out of your pocket. That's all we're asking for. And they wouldn't even give me a quarter. And sometimes I just don't understand this country.
thought I'd get a tattoo ever in my life. But I just felt, I needed to get it. So I got it here because it's right over my heart. And my heart is broken. And I got they call it a broken heart because the band going through it. So that's why I got it there. He was my baby. And he died so young.
It doesn't say your name.
What?
I don't like talking about that.
Yeah, you know. Can I talk about it a little bit?
No.
Just a little bit.
No.
Well, then when you go away, then.
No.
Well, her dad. Some days she don't like us to talk about her dad many a times. You know.
Yeah.
When she wants to talk about it, we talk about it, but otherwise.
I tell you guys to stop talking.
And she tells, we don't talk about it when she don't want us, because it.
Come on, Grandma.
It does affect her, it does. And actually, the last, 6 months, it's really been hurting her more, since her father passed away. I guess since she went to school, she sees the other kids with their mothers and fathers when we go to events, and she gets upset about that. We want her to understand that her father was a hero, and that's why he passed away, unfortunately.
Why are you like this? My birthday. I don't know why I named her. I forget.
Well, Bloomberg was at a college. I don't remember what college he was at. And he was talking at the college, and he said that Jimmy didn't die from the debris in his lungs from the World Trade Center while he was working there, but he died from improperly using his pain medicine by injecting it into his veins. I was actually, speechless at that time. I said I could not, I couldn't believe how someone could demise somebody's reputation like that, just for the sake of, trying to save money for the city or lawsuits to, take somebody's reputation away from them. Because even though later on he apologized for the statement, but once the words are put out, many people that want to believe it. Oh, do not talk about Daddy. Right? Okay. Why don't you go sit with Grandma? I said to him, Jim, knowing how sick you are now, would you go back to that and do it again if you had the chance to do it again? And he said, yes, I would. That was my job, and that's
That was my duty, and yes, I would go back.
No, I wouldn't do it again. I hate to say it, and I'm not being selfish, but nobody's caring about me. Nobody's knocking on my door. Freddie, how are you doing? Nobody. I don't see the government sending me letters. Freddie, we care about you. We're going to help you. Nothing. No, I wouldn't do it again.
I would do it again, because that's my nature.
Truthfully, if anything happened again, I'd beg him not to go, and he'd do it all over again.
The more time passes, the more people want to forget and want to move on. The Ground Zero community would love to move on, but they can't because the problems are still here. Ground Zero is still with them. It's still in their lungs, it's still in their bodies, and it's still affecting their lives in tremendous ways.